Now, in today's edition, I'll be teaching you how to read, interpret, and trade news. Firstly, I'd like to start with where we get our news. So, there are a lot of websites you can actually get your news from. But personally, I get mine from Forex Factory. So, just go to your browser, input forexfactory.com, then go to the calendar section. You see something like this. You see something like calendars. You can choose dates and the like. So here I'm actually I'm viewing the news that happened that occurred all through the week at once. So Monday, January 1, Tuesday, January 2, these are the fundamentals. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Now how we read these fundamentals from these these sites or from the news we have is we read them by their symbols and in the order of their importance. Now if you look at this section this screen now, you see something like a kind of a calendar box, some with yellow, some with gray, some with brown, and some with red. So they are in the order of their importance. So and in order of rankings. So now when you see a red calendar symbol news, it means it's an high impact news. So the red means high impact. High impact in the sense of okay, the effects of this particular fundamental is strong, very, very strong. So when you see a yellow calendar box, it means a low impact, yeah, a low impact news. Then when you see a brown a brown calendar box, that's I said red is high, um, yellow is low, so low impact, and this brown is like almost no impact at all. And this gray, this particular gray are specially used for maybe events and yeah, events, holidays, and the likes. You see, yeah, if you checked January 1, because it was the first day of the year, you see something like gray. So most especially they're used for events and holiday. So those are the I think for now, four type of news that we have. So we have the high impact news, the low impact news, which is the high, which is the red symbols, the low, which is the yellow symbols, the least impact, like least impact, which is the brown, and the one that stands for events and holidays, which is the gray symbol. So that's just it. So now coming to how to read this news when you see them. So yesterday was Friday and we had NFP as the first Friday of the year. But I would like to cite an example starting from Thursday. You know, I'll start from Thursday. I'll start my example from Thursday, then I'll relate it down to Friday to what happened on Friday. So and I will drop an assignment after this video where you would have to go practice the other news we have and in the upcoming week so you can be able to understand more of these things personally. You know, when you learn this, you can go ahead, come to this website and learn, just make use of what you'll be taught here so you can actually you can gain the experience yourself, because when it comes to fundamentals it also has to do with experience. Yeah, trading as a whole, it also has to do with your personal experience, not really what you were taught, but the experience you got, the knowledge you got by practicing what you were taught. Yeah, so let's quickly go to Thursday. So this was Thursday, and the first news started around 1:30 a.m. So this is JPY news. So that's a news happening on Japanese yen. So it's a low impact news. CNY, so it's a least impact news. EUR, that's an high impact news. So then we have a lot of news. EUR, GPB, USD, which is United States dollar. These are high impact news. So um, non-farm employment change and the unemployment claims. So one for 215 and another for 230. So but depending on the pair you're trading, for example, if you're trading a pair that has to do with EUR, maybe you're trading Euro USD, you're trading GPB, whichever pair that you are trading, you should always check out for the news. That's why technical traders that don't really trade fundamentals, once they check news and they see that okay, news is coming on, they leave the market ASAP because but I feel like it should be one of the skill you should have as a profitable trader to be able to read, interpret, and trade news also. So and I guess the last part of trading fundamentals is predicting news, which is very, very risky. But I guess I'll be talking about that you trying to analyze a news like fundamentally and knowing the direction of the news, like a kind of form of prediction. I think I will talk more about that on the part two of this video. So straight away, let me go to what I focus on, what I trade the most, the PS, the kind of PS I trade. Those are the USD PS. I love gold. Yeah, sometimes I call myself a gold digger. So I love gold, XAUSD. I love USD dominant and USD dependent PS. So I think in the training we had on my community, I explained what I mean by USD dominant and USD dependent peers. We have peers in USD dominant peers in the case of USD, like in the peer arrangement, USD falls in front and the other peers falls behind USD. Example like USD CAD, USD CAD, that's USD United States dollar slash Canadian dollar, USD JPY, and lots more like that. And those are USD dominant pairs, which means USD is dominant in that particular pair. Or wherever action maybe is taking place on that particular pair, maybe it's a buy or a sell. That means the action is being taken on or against USD. So but in the case whereby USD is a dependent pair in form of whether a particular pair or a particular pair comes first, a particular currency comes first before USD, and USD comes after that particular period. That means USD is depending, like trading USD is now depending on that part of on that particular currency. Like examples like XAU USD, GPB USD, EUR, Euro USD, and lots more actually. So where USD is dependent, so USD is behind that particular currency and is depending on the one in front that comes before it. So I guess I've explained that the impact of news on both occasions. So I've explained that. So coming to the news now, let's go on how to read the news. So once you come online, you visit your website, your favorite websites where you check news. There are a lot of them, but personally, like I said, I use Forex Factory. So you see news like USD 2:15 p.m., USD non-farm employment change. Then it is 2 year actually for Thursday on USD. So we have non-farm employment change for USD it is 2 on Thursday. Then we have non-farm employment change and unemployment claims. So I check for okay the first one, which as at then maybe I was expecting the news to come to life around 2. So I check for the first one and all right, so just like I said, to read the news, just click on the detail. You can say something like detail, actual, forecast, previous, and graph here. So these are what we use in reading what the news entails. So Thursday, 2:15 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. We have an high impact news. We're less bothered about the low impact news, just the high impact news. So we click on detail and you click on yeah, then it opens. They say something like source, mayors, usual effect, frequency, next release, FF note, why traders care. Like, why should traders care about this particular news? Derived via or like derived by, like the news is derived, like through, like they'll give you the data here. So accurate span and the likes. So then on here you see something like the history of this particular news, this particular fundamental. So the last one was December 6th, November 1, October 4, August 30, August 2, 2023. So you can actually check for more. So you can click on more and check. Yeah, you can just click for more and you can see the previous sections. You can always check for more. And actually, for this particular history, actually, we use this history in predicting. You know, when you read the algorithm packed together with analysis and with a bit of technical analysis, also, you can actually predict where the news will fall to. But just like I said, this the um teaching you how to predict a news or how to know how to know the direction which the news might fall will be in the part two of this video. So on reading the news, on how to read the news now. So once you get the news here, you look at the usual effect. This are one of the things, the most important stuff you look at. Usual effect. Actual greater than forecast is good for currency. That means we're expecting on the previous time this news happened, the actual was lesser than the forecast. So this is forecast. Forecast was 131K. Actual was 103. You can see that it is lesser. Now, but we are for the issue of says actual greater than the forecast is good for the currency. That means for us to have a positive news, for us to have a positive impact on the currency. When something is good for the currency, relating this to layman terms and relating this to economics, it means that the economy is good. For the currency to be strengthened, for dollar to be strengthened, that means the economy is good, and that means there are good events, good happenings happening, like there are good happenings in the country for the economy to be good and for the economy to be good and for we to have a positive news. So on our community, while I was teaching how to interpret news, I made mention of something like mention of something like why we have some will be actual greater than for forecasts to be good for the currency. If you check the second one, which is unemployment claims, it will tell you, usual effect will tell you actual should be lesser than forecast to be good for currency. Now, if you read all these the mayors, the FF notes and the likes, and from the topic, like from the header of the news actually alone, you should be able to relate this to normal in normal layman understanding or to economics, because they said here that employment change. Now you would understand that okay, just like I said, okay, let me firstly explain forecast and actual, because forecast is like a predicted value, that they are expecting, while actual is like the actual value they actually got. Now on they actually forecasted the actual value that was forecasted. Now coming back to what I was explaining, one the first one is employment change and the second one is unemployment claim. Now we understand that for a currency to be strengthened, for we to have a good economy, we have to have higher employment change, like there must be an increase in employment. That's why you see something like when you clicked on this employment change, the usual effect was the actual should be greater than the forecast to be good for the currency. So for example, what happened on Thursday was the forecast was 120 and the actual was 164K. So you can see the big margin between. That means they were, let's say for example, in layman illustrating, let's say they were expecting about 120K figures that for employment change, but they got more than expected, which is 164K in figures, in data figures. I don't know if you get my point now. So it's quite simple if you can relate it in layman terms. It's quite simple reading and understanding these stuffs. Why unemployment claims? If there are more unemployment in the country, that means the economy is weakened, and that weakens the currency, because a weak economy is a weak currency. So, but a good economy is a strong and a strengthened currency. So for this news now, unemployment claim, this is the header of this news. That means for we to have a positive news, there must be lesser unemployment, like data figures. So that's why you see the usual effect will now tell you actual less than forecast is good for currency. I'm explaining this because you can see one will tell you actual should be greater than forecast, and another is telling you actual is less than actual should be less, for it to make it a good happening, for a better economy, and for a strengthened currency. Now, coming to explain how to read this news. So now coming to implementing what you've read. So now we can see that this is a positive event. In my own personal terms, in my training, I call it a good news. So this is a good news for USD actually. The two news that was 2:15 p.m. and 2:30 p.m. It's a good news for USD. And the pair I'm citing, I'm making use, um, I'm using for an example here. It's actually a USD dependent pair. So this is a commodity, XAUSD gold, and the gold is in front, gold spot is in front, and we are trading it against USD. So now, since that is a good news, that means we are expecting a sell for this news. That means gold is being weakened. That means gold is selling against USD. That means USD is now being strengthened against gold. So we're selling. So remember, I've already explained that what you do in terms of USD dominant and USD dependent pairs. So now the news happened around 2:15 uh January 4th. January 4th, 2:15 p.m. and 2:30. But my broker here, FX Open and on Trading View. Yeah, for the sake of those who are new to trading, when you are checking up your chart, you can also use Trading View to make it gives you a wide screen to analyze, and a lot of symbols here, a lot of tools, rather, a lot of tools here that are now available on MT5. Though although a lot of them are still available on your MetaTrader, but a lot man gives you a wide ranging of opportunity to connect. You read news, a lot more. You set your alarms, a lot more charts, and like makes trading beautiful. Yeah, it makes trading beautiful. So now, as of now, I think it's about 9 a.m. in the morning here in Nigeria. But in trading view, I think that's about 3:33, and here it's about 9:34 a.m. But over there is 3:33. So that means they're about 6 to 7 hours behind of Nigerian time. So my forex factory relates the news to me according to my Nigerian time. So that means whichever broker you're using, you would have to calculate. You get my point. You have to calculate. So my 2:15 p.m. that this news is occurring can be the same with if you're using broker like Derive. Derive is about, I think, 1 hour difference from Nigerian time. So yeah, 1 hour difference. So we are like 1 hour ahead of Derive time. So that's Derive broker. So different brokers, we have brokers that are 5 hours ahead, 3 hours ahead, 3 hours behind, and the likes. But this particular one is actually like 6 to 7 hours behind. So although we would be seeing the same charts at the same time, because the same chart I'm seeing at my own 2:15 p.m. is the same chart wherever country the person resides. I think this should be USA. it's the same chart the person will be seeing at that particular time. So I can be here 9 a.m. in the morning and I'm seeing a an armor forming on my 5 minutes, and you'll be there 10 a.m. in the morning or 12 a.m. in the morning or 8 a.m. in the morning or 6 a.m. whichever country you can be, you might be, we will still be seeing the same armor forming on our chart. So the time difference does not actually count. It's all about because we all see the same thing at that particular moment on the market. So back to what I was saying, I do have to trace this because it's now a previous trade, not the current running trade. So I do have to trace it back. So when I trace this, it's 2:15 and 2:30 here. So subtracting it, I noticed it was eight. It was around here. It was 8:15 and 8:15 and 8:30. That was when this news happened, January 4th here on this particular broker. Using a Nigerian broker that works with Nigerian time, it will happen at the same time. So the 2:15 on Forex Patch will be 2:15 on that particular broker also. But if you are using any other, depending on the country your broker resides actually, so it will work their particular time. So this here is 8:15 and 8:30. That's the time when this news happened on Thursday. So I'm just going to this is a time 5 minute time frame. And another hint I'm going to give is why you want to trade fundamentals. Now I've explained how you read fundamentals, and I've explained how you interpret fundamentals. Now we are at how you trade the fundamentals. Now, one thing about trading fundamentals, when you want to trade fundamentals, you don't trade fundamentals on 1 hour on 1 hour time frame on you don't trade fundamentals on 1 hour time frame or daily time frame or 4 hours time frame or 5 minutes time frame. You trade or 15 minute time frame rather. You trade fundamentals mostly on 1 minute time frame and 1 minute time frame and you trade fundamentals on 1 minute time frame and 5 minute time frame. You can decide to take it to the 5 minutes if you want to make more money and depending on the volatility of that particular news. So you can decide to take it to 5 minutes so you can actually maybe you can hold for like at least the next if you see okay this news is actually cooking up a very big trend up here, you can hold for a few more minutes, a few more 5, 15, 20, 30 minutes, then make a good profit out of it. But you trade fundamentals on 1 minute and on 5 minutes. So I'm marking the spots where the two news happened and ended. So this is 8:15, which is the same as 8:15, which is the same as my 2:15 Nigerian time on Forex Factory, and this is 8:30, which is the same as 2:30, which is the same as 2:30 here. It's the same as 2:30 here on my Nigerian time Forex Factory. So then I will change the time frame to 1 minute. So I look for this particular pair. So change the time frame to 1 minute. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So I think now I've seen worldwide. So I can use my some yeah. Yeah, so I can use mine. So now this was 8:14, which is a minute before the news happened, which is 2:14 in Nigerian time. So this is when the news happened exactly. Now, I said I'm not going to teach us how to predict the direction of the news. When the news is up, actually, on because this is a desktop, you can be seeing these candles as very, very little. Maybe they are not volatile enough, but these are candles. These candles the minimum you can see on this 1 minute candles is a minimum of 20 pips. So each of them has a minimum of 20 pips. And trading fundamentals, is just like another strategy of just like just like technical analysis as a lot of strategy you can use to assess the market and make good trade. So it's not magic. It's just like another strategy. But how you can win always, because fundamentals is actually very interesting to trade. Trust me, it's something you would love to explore. It's a part of trading you would love to explore. So 8:15, and we go, the best way. There are two ways to trade fundamentals. You either predict where the markets will go and you trade it before the news occur. That means now when you're expecting a news around 2:15, you can place your trade around 2:13, place your trade around 2:14 and predict, oh, this news is going to be a sell. So you place the sell around 2:13 and 2:15, and you put your SL close by in case the trade goes against you. You can put like 2 or 3 pips SL, and make sure you're using a good broker that has maybe a minimal slippage, so that by the time the news touches, because it's very volatile and very fast, by the time it touches your SL, it will close immediately. Yeah, so back to what I was explaining here. So this is it. Just like I said, the best way to trade two method of trading. Yes, the first one is to predict, and the second one is to trade the news after the news has been released, immediately after the news has been released. So you can check Forex Factory 2:15. You notice that the news was a positive news, which means we are going to sell on XAUUSD because it's a positive news. Now another thing you check around that 8:15, immediately the news is released. If you want to trade, if you want to use the second method, which is trading after the news has been released, you check the difference between the actual and the forecast. Now, the forecast is we have 120K and the actual is 164K. If you subtract 120K from 164K, we should still have about maybe 36K. So it's actually a very wide margin and a very wide gap, a very wild margin, a very wild gap. So now you that's actually telling us that this sell is going to be long. Like the this fundamental is really going to affect the market, and the market is going to be bearish at least for the next 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes, or even for the sometimes for the rest of the day the market can continue to be bearish, because this margin is actually very wide. So um imagine from 120 to 160, so that's about 36K margin in between there. So now we can just plan to take our trade between maybe in the first 30 minutes, maybe just 30 minutes candlestick, and we're off. So now I can now the news has been released at 2:15, which is 8:15 here. Now my entry, my entry. Now this particular news now start from I think start from 2046. Start from 20 2046. All right, 20. Yeah, the news, this news candle um started 2046 and it ended here. I mean the first candle around 8:15, which is 2:15. That's 2044. Now if you subtract the best way to calculate the number of tips on gold, best and the fastest way. So just subtract the former from the later. So yeah, subtract the later from the former and you multiply by 10, then you have the number of pips. So the nearest started 2046 and ended here. The week ended 2044 but touched 2024. That's about, if you subtract 46, I'm going to leave the decimal figures behind. So if you subtract 46 2046 2044 from 2046, which will be about 2 multiplied by 10, that's almost 20 pips in just 1 minute candle. Sometimes I think that's some people's TP. We have a lot of scalpers that what they just target is 20 pips, 30 pips, and they're out of the market. While we have swing traders that targets as much as 100, 200 pips, 300 pips. But what I'm actually confident of is that one thing about fundamental, and the good part of fundamental is that fundamental can still give you that 100 pips in just one candle. Yeah, we have volatile fundamentals like that. Examples like NFP on 5 minute time frame, it gives a minimum of about 70 in all of its occurrence. It gives a minimum of about 70 to 90, 100 above pips every time that happens actually. So NFP is actually one of the strongest names you can have. Then all this pitch gives about 50, 60, but on an average, a news on just 1 minute gives you about 20 to 30 pips in one particular news. On this particular occasion, where it is just one news happening at this particular time, 2:15 p.m. The best place to enter is the immediate candle after the news as the fundamental candle has closed. So the immediate candle. So the news was released 8:15. This happened. The candle closed as an hammer. So and the immediate candle after that news is where you actually enter. So let me drag this on my line here. So let's assume my entry was there around 245 point 55. That's assume that's where my entry was, and my SL will be somewhere around here. It will be my SL will be like on top or or around the immediate candle before the news happened. Now this is the news candle. My entry is the immediate candle after the news happened, and my SL will be the immediate candle before the news happened. So I could actually put my SL around there. So I could make my SL maybe about let's say about 10 pips. You actually tip it here. You can go away with a 30 your 30 pips. Let's say you made about 300 grand, $300 rather. So and here again I can decide to, let's say now I've closed this trade. So let me just delete. Let me just delete that. So since I've closed this trade. So now here again is 230 where I'm expecting 230 again, where I'm expecting another news 230 here, which is 830 here. So now if I want to predict the news, which is part two, I can enter I'll enter immediately before the news happens. So if I'm predicting a sell, I enter here. But just like the one I was saying, you enter immediately after the news. So the news happened already here, just on 1 minute, and it happened from 2045 tore down to 2042. So this is another 30 pips in just one candle. But remember, we enter on the candle immediately after the news. And immediately after the news, you can choose a very good entry with what, like maybe while it was retesting LB, you quickly entered, or let's just say you entered here. So at 2042, I can decide to pop. Let me delete these lines. I use these lines to actually mark. So I can decide to pop this news from here to from here, just a quick scalp. That's 2042 down to 2040. That's 20 pips in from here. If I hold it on the longer, maybe I already put my SL on break even. So maybe I put my SL on profit. I save some profits already. I can decide to hold the trade up wherever happens, and I can ride it all along to 2038. So if you subtract the later from the former, 20 2038 from 2042, I think you will have about, yeah, you have about 40 pips in there. So if you calculate your 40 pips in here plus your 40 pips from plus your 30 pips in here, that means you've already had 70 pips. So if you left the trade right from while it was here, while we entered from here, so which is 2045 down to 2038. So from 45 down to 2038. If you left it when we entered in the first news and you broke, you saved a little bit of profit. Let's say you put your profit on broke even here. So it would have almost touched here, but it wouldn't, or you left your SL here still. That's your SL here still. From here immediately after the first news, down, you rode it down for about a 30 minute candle, down to 2038. Now if you subtract 2045 from 2038, that will be seven times 10, that's 70 pips that happened all the way from when the first news was released and you held it, seeing that the news is actually one that it's like that's a very wild gap, and you held maybe for like 30 minutes, that's about 70 pips running in profit. If you hold longer, depending on your entries and your exits, depending on your grid level, grid is not good. I feel 70 pips is a very good run on this particular trade. So if you use this strategy to make your to trade news or to trade news, are you able to bag 50 to 70 pips, 50, 70 to 100 pips? This are another these are other points again. If you're able to bag 50, 50, 70, 100 pips per news you trade, you see, you would know that this is a very, very good strategy, and a very good thing to actually explore. Trading news is it's a very good, yeah, it's something you should try to explore as a trader. So using this strategy, um, I feel you're a lot safer because you at least it saves you from gambling. There's still lots more in terms of what type of news. This particular strategy works only when we have one news at a time, or two news or three news saying the same thing. We have two news here at 2:15 at 2:30, and they both said the same thing. It was both a positive news and a positive news. But in time whereby this 2:15 has like two news together at once, like Friday. Let's check Friday. I have two news, 2:30 p.m. has about three news at a time. USD, USD, USD. These are three events happening at a time. So, but they said the same thing again. So the three news said, okay, the first one is a positive, second one is a positive, the third one is a positive. So this particular strategy still stands. But in other occasions, watch part two.